Hey everyone, it's Alexis, and as you guys know, it is 2025, and it is time for a new set of New Year goals, New Year's resolutions. So even though I'm filming this like low-key halfway through the month of January, it's never too late to start our goals. So I actually don't have any listed goals for 2025. I feel like 2024 I had a lot of goals on paper, but I feel like a lot of them I didn't get to do. Like certain things, like wanting to go to like the museum and stuff like that, I just never did it. So I feel like some of those goals I'm gonna roll it over. But I will say one goal that I really am proud of myself is developing an art style. A year ago I was like, I want an art style so badly, and literally I practiced it so much, and by the end of the year I had a defined art style, and I feel very confident in that. And I definitely did practice a lot of art and try new things, even stuff that I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm good at yet, but just like I've developed, I've grown. Definitely would be like painting, stuff like that. So for my New Year's goals, I want to separate into a few categories. So for this first category, I would just say try new things. Oh my goodness. So to break it down, let's say like mediums. I want to be a painter. I want to really improve my acrylic painting technique, and then I also want to try stuff like gouache. And if I feel comfortable with gouache, maybe even try oil. I don't really want to be a watercolor girly, but I may try that as well. But again, my priority is going to be acrylic, gouache, and then oil. After that, I want to get into like the messy mediums again, stuff like charcoal, stuff like Conte. Get back into those, really learn how to work with those materials. Also supplementary materials like fixatives, varnish, learning how those work and how it'll affect piece. Also, in terms of non-traditional art mediums, I do want to get into digital art. I bought Procreate for my iPad a long time ago, and I just never really like sat there and got into it. So I do want to get into it, although I don't really see myself doing any like super fancy art on there, but maybe something where I can make like bookmarks, you know, like more simple designs but still very pretty, very cutesy. Also stuff like clay. As you guys know, last year I bought air dry clay. I actually still have not worked with it yet. I think I am still kind of like scared to get into it, but also where would I put it? I do tend to like a lot of sculptures and stuff like that, but I also do want to learn how to get into just making regular items like bowls and stuff like that. So I do think that for air dry clay, I do want to start off with something big. I might make maybe like anywhere between like 1 to 3 medium-sized pieces. I don't know exactly how many pieces I'll be able to make with that clay, but I do want to get into that and really just get back into clay. I think the biggest thing is that since I'm doing this at home, I don't have a kiln, and also I'm kind of scared of a kiln anyway, so just try to figure out what I can work with within my means. But I feel like for the most part, those are things I really want to branch out this year in terms of my mediums. In terms of other things to try, I do want to go to a pottery class so badly. Even if it's just like a small hangout with the girls, I do just want to experience that, just be in that environment, learn from people who are definitely like experts in the field, and then again, just have a fun time with like maybe a group of girls or whatever the case may be. I feel like it's very relaxing to be in those environments. Going to the museum. I've been to the museum a few times in both my city, Augusta, and also in Atlanta, but I've never really just been by myself. I've always gone like group trip or whatever case it be, but I want to go by myself. I want to be inspired. But then also there are places where you can find, and also you can find inspiration anywhere. So I feel like even things that I don't see every day, like I would go to the zoo. I want to go to the zoo and take pictures and then come home and then maybe draw those pictures, or I don't know, just find a spark in everyday life. So once I go to the museum, again, I just want to go to all these different places, even maybe different areas in my city that I don't really go to, and just like photograph those things or take a picture and then come home and draw it in my sketchbook, and really just improve my skills by what I see naturally. Not necessarily like looking at Pinterest or whatever case it be to get inspiration, but actually just looking at the inspiration itself. I do want to get back into realism. Even though I'm still in touch with it, I do feel like it's not as strong as it used to be because I am mainly doing my style. And then for the next category, in terms of my technique, I want to really get into anatomy. I feel like I'm still at that point where I am comfortable with certain things, like how to draw a face, but if you tell me how to draw like a full body without a reference, I feel like it's very hard for me without looking at myself in the mirror or looking up a reference on Pinterest for a pose. So I want to be able to just bust out anything, even if it's like a very awkward pose, and automatically know where those shadows are, where those highlights are, what parts of the body look a little bit bigger or smaller depending on the perspective. Those are things that I just don't naturally get, and I can admit that, and I want to just learn those things. Also, being able to draw just anything. I don't draw flowers like that. I don't draw landscapes like that. I don't draw animals. So even though I don't see myself really being that type of artist, I feel like a good artist is always trying to branch out and try different things. So I do want to learn how to draw different things, and as I feel comfortable with the realism aspect, I feel like I want to branch out and try it more into my style, figure that out. Another thing, technique wise, is just trying different art styles. I really want to get into like a cartoony style, something that's more of like a kid's book illustrative style, but then also I want to go for a more kind of like anime manga type of style, something that's very dynamic, something that's very expressive, but also I feel like something like illustrative style, like cartoon illustrative style, like it's very flat but it's expressive. You know, it's not super big on shadows and highlights, but it's also like, I don't know, it's just very interesting to me because it looks easy but it's not. Or something like anime manga where it's like it's very dynamic, very detailed in certain places to make it pop, very expressive. I want to learn to just be more expressive with my art and to do that with confidence. I also want to get better about hyperrealism. I want things to pop more. And another category would be composition. I feel like a lot of times when I look at my backgrounds, I feel like it's either plain or I feel like it may be too distracting. So I want to learn how to make a busy background or even a flat background without it being distracting, without it being like white background or solid color. To me, it's like I don't know how to make it pop. Sometimes I see people draw things like a collage, and it's like, to me mentally it's hard for me to set the stage without actually having that reference, if that makes sense. So really just figuring out how to have like an accessory, a complement to the main focus. Last thing that I want to always be a student. Oh no, I take it back. This is not my last thing. So I take the last thing. I want to always be a student, always learn. So get off Pinterest as much, but again, just learn from what I see. Also invest in a lot of art books and different styles. And the very last point is to put myself out there on social media. I think this is the biggest thing with any artist, is being hesitant to put yourself out there or feeling like, okay, I'm a good artist, but am I that good? Like, am I good enough for someone to buy my stuff? Am I that good for someone to actually follow me on social media? But I think the biggest thing is just put yourself out there. And content could be as simple as showing a work in progress, showing the finished thing. Oh, this is how many pieces I've made this week. Oh, showing you how many pieces I've made this month. Like, it's not that complicated. You don't have to sit here and overthink it. If you are working on your craft, you have more than enough content. And I think I'm learning that. I told myself that I would kind of soft launch my art brand a long time ago, but it hasn't grown at all, in my opinion. So I haven't posted, I haven't been consistent at all. Like, I always let fear kind of get in the way a little bit. So I'm at that point of just sharing it. And even now, sharing little behind the scenes of a work in progress that has gained a lot of views and attention to both my art Instagram, but also my personal page that I've been sharing it on. And I feel like I've already had so much courage just from seeing that. You put yourself out there and people do naturally flock to you. If people don't know what you have going on, they have nothing to support. So I think about it like that. I want to branch out, reach out, maybe even collab with other artists. When it comes to stuff like photography, I definitely want to put myself out there and work with people, learn how to pose human subjects, put myself just out there in all ways. If there's anything I could learn from, any type of class I can take, I would love to do that. But I think that for me, that's all I can really ask for in 2025. Growth, expansion, improving the skills I already have, and taking leaps of faith. And that's all anyone could ever ask for. But with that being said, I hope that whatever goals you have for 2025, you achieve. I know that I have full faith in myself, I have full faith in you, and I feel like we can literally conquer everything we put our minds to. But that being said, you guys have an amazing year. Keep growing, keep creating, and have a blessed day. Bye.